The brick hammer backbreaker build is going to rely on 2 heavy brick hammers and the Ash of War crag blade to utterly annihilate and disrespect this game in a way that you have never seen before. I do so much damage with this build. I'm going to show you consumables, I'm going to show you the weapons, talismans, armor, everything, and you will literally run through this game at level 150, maxing out strength. Let's get into it. So first, I'd like to point out, I didn't really even know this weapon existed until a few weeks ago, and I've been working on this build, and it is incredible. I've made a lot of strength builds before, but this one definitely takes the cake. I think besides the iron ball build, this one is going to do so much damage. The heavy brick hammer is an amazing weapon. It has an S tier in strength when it comes to its attribute scaling, and the talismans we have are going to really benefit this build and synergize together in a way that's going to make you unstoppable. There are a few different ways to play this build. I'm going to focus on one, and then I'm going to mention a few others, but with that being said, I think you're really going to enjoy it. So with the weapon, like I said, we're going to be using the brick hammer. This has an S tier in strength scaling. It requires 31 strength to use and no other attributes. This is definitely a unga bunga strength build, but with both of these hammers equipped, you are going to completely clear the battlefield and destroy every single boss with ease. It has a physical damage of 253 plus 471, and it's going to use the Ash of War crag blade, which is going to give you a ton of buffs, and we'll get into that in just a moment. This weapon also can be found extraordinarily early on in Stormveil Castle, so you'll be able to get this weapon right away in your playthrough, and you're going to have a really good time playing with it. Now, as far as the Ash of War goes for this weapon, we are going to be using crag blade. This is going to stick the weapon into the ground and buff it to increase your physical attack power by 15%, your stance damage by 10%, and stamina damage against blocking enemies by 50%. So when it comes to strength, this Ash of War is absolutely incredible and necessary, in my opinion, to make you do the most damage possible. If you want to get this Ash of War, it is going to be located in Caelid, right next to the impassable Great Bridge Site of Grace near the Sword Monument, and you'll have to kill a scarab that's there to get it to drop. Now, as far as the actual buffs that we're using for this build to make us do a lot of damage, I am going to be using the Commander's Standard, and this is going to allow you to get a 20% damage buff and 20% damage negation, which is going to help you out a ton. And then you're also going to be using either the Exalted Flesh, which is going to temporarily boost physical attack by 20%, or the Blood Boil Aromatic, which is going to increase your max stamina by 20%, your physical damage by 30%. However, you are going to take 25% more damage, so be mindful of that. If you do need any help figuring out how to craft either one of those items, I will leave videos down in the description for you that are going to tell you exactly where to farm the items and how to craft them. Now, as far as the talismans go, we are going to be using 4 that synergize very well with this build, and the first of which is going to be a stamina talisman, because if you've played Elden Ring for any amount of time, you know that maces and colossal weapons alike are going to really crush your stamina, so you need that recovery. So we're going to be using the green turtle talisman, which is going to boost our stamina recovery speed by 17.7%. We're also going to be using the axe talisman, which is going to enhance those charge attacks to give us those really heavy charged R2s by 10%. We're going to be using the Rottenwing Sword Insignia, which is going to greatly increase the attack power of our successive attacks, all the way up to 13% attack power boost. And then we are going to use the Great Jar's Arsenal. The main reason that I have the Great Jar's Arsenal on here is because I'm also equipping the Commander's Standard in my second slot, so that's going to add more weight, and then the armor we're using also is going to add a little bit of weight, so you want to be able to mitigate that a little bit. So this is a fantastic talisman to use to make sure you can equip everything you need. And if you don't have the Rottenwing Sword Insignia, you can use Milson's Prosthesis to give you a similar effect, but this is the one that I have on this character, which is why I chose it. Some of you may be asking why the Rottenwing Sword Insignia on a hammer build, but in patch 1.09, hammers got a massive buff to swing faster, so in doing so, it allows hammers to proc this talisman pretty quickly. Now, if you do want to swap out any one of these talismans for a different playstyle, I would swap out the Axe Talisman and put the Claw Talisman there so you can get those really powerful jump attacks off, and maybe switch out the chest piece we're using for the Raptor's Black Feathers to get that 20% extra jump attack damage. That is also another viable way to play this build. And guys, per usual, I do just want to take a short minute here and thank you guys so much for watching this far into the video. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Helps me out a ton. Hit that bell notification so you can know when I'm making more content. We are about to move into Lords of the Fallen, so I hope you guys are going to get ready for that and enjoy that game, because I am stoked and I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much. We've gained 12,000 subscribers in the year 2023 so far, so I'm very excited to see where we're going to go by the end of the year. But with that being said, let's get into the armor. So as far as the armor goes, obviously I'm kind of wearing a Vike-inspired armor set. We have the fingerprint helm, the fingerprint armor, the all-knowing gauntlets, and the fingerprint greaves. All this is going to wrap us up in 51 poise, and I don't really have a theme here, just kind of a knight going through the lands between, but I think it looks really cool with the brick hammers, and it does keep you from getting knocked around as much as you normally would without meeting that 51 poise mark. And if you want to snag this armor for yourself, you can get it from Vike, I believe in the Frenzied Flame village, but if you don't get it there, you can also get it from his Everjail up in the mountaintops of the Giants. And if you want to get the gauntlets, you're going to have to kill Gideon at the end of the game when the storyline naturally progresses you to him. And lastly, we are going to use our Flask of Wondrous Physic here, and inside of our flask is going to be the Stone Barb cracked tier and the Spike cracked tier. Ever since patch 1.10 came out, Stance Break has been the name of the game, and these tiers on a strength build, I can't seem to find any better tiers for this build, so this is what we're using. The Stone Barb cracked tier is going to temporarily make Stance Break easier. It's going to provide you with 30% stance damage and 30% stamina damage to blocking enemies for 30 seconds, so definitely a phenomenal tier to use here. And the second tier we're using is going to be the Spiked cracked tier, which is going to temporarily boost your charged attack power. This is going to stack very well with our Axe Talisman, providing us overall about 26% charged attack power boost, and this is going to last you about 3 minutes. If you want to know the location of both of these tiers, the Spiked cracked tier is going to be found in the Minor Erd Tree in the Mistwood on an altar, and the Stone Barb cracked tier is going to be located by defeating a putrid avatar near the Erd Tree on the far east of Caelid. And guys, that is it for our Brick Hammer Backbreaker build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it is incredibly fun, and it does a ton of damage. So leave down in the comments what you want to see next, what you liked from this build, what you might change. I'm going to be moving away from strength builds because I've done about 6 or 7 strength builds in a row, and I'm going to move on to some dex and faith builds and that sort of thing. So as I said, let me know what you want to see down in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you can know when my videos are coming out. I have shorts coming out every single day and long form videos Monday and Friday. So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.